I slide my books down the return chute and they crash into the cart with a pleasant thud. Yuko, however, doesn't seem as impressed as I. Hisao! You scared me! Oh, sorry, I thought you'd be used to that by now. Or is the literacy level here so low that nobody borrows any books? Huh? No, I think everyone here can read fine. No, never mind. There are some battles that you can never win. Trying to explain jokes is one of them. My dad taught me that the hard way. Say, Yuko, have you seen Hanako about? She left class early, but she wasn't in her usual hiding place. Oh, I think I saw her sneak in before lunch. Oh, but I'm not supposed to tell anyone that. No, it's alright. I just told you that I saw her leave. No need to stress out. Oh, of course. She's probably in the back. Thanks. Got any new books recently? No, sorry. I'll let you know when we do, though. Okay, thanks. So one thing I know about librarians, part-time or otherwise, is that they appreciate people who take a genuine interest in their work. I walk the now familiar path to Hanako's reading nook, picking up a few titles along the way. Sometimes I find it hard to discover a book that will interest me among the shelves. An author's name and a two-word title don't mean much in a sea of similar words. For that reason, I sometimes reread books that I read in the past. Better to bet on the favourite than a new runner. An unfamiliar title with a familiar author peeks out among the spines of its neighbours, so I remove it from the shelf. At least I'm not going over old material. As expected, Hanako sits on a beanbag, buried deep in a copy of Dance, Dance, Dance Revolution. Hiya, Hanako. How's it going? I fight back the urge to ask why she left class early. If Lily's suspicions were right, then asking her about that could have the opposite effect. Best to leave it for the time being. Sometimes the best way to get an answer from someone is to never ask the question. Oh, hello, Hisao. I'm fine. Something seems off, and after a couple of seconds I realise what it is. Hanako's smiling. She looks as if she's pleased to see me. It's a nice change from the usual, instinctively frightened reaction, and something I hope I can see more of as we get to know each other better. Good to hear. How's the book? I've heard it's a trip. It's good, I think. I've only just started it, so I don't really know. Oh, fair enough. Let me know how it goes. I may borrow it once you're done. Sure. There's a good 15 minutes left in lunch. Not enough to really get into a book, but too much to stand around doing nothing. And Hanako's already returned to her reading, so I doubt I'll get much conversation from her. Oh well, I better make myself comfortable. I slouch into a beanbag and crack open my book. The familiar style of the author leaps out at me from the very first line. As the sentences turn into paragraphs, I start to relax a little. But no matter how I try, I can't seem to get myself into the atmosphere of the book. This is partly due to the lack of time, but the more distracting factor is Hanako. Every 10 or so seconds she peers over the top of her book, but when our eyes meet she quickly ducks behind the covers. I guess she did want to talk about something after all. What's up? You look like a prairie dog on lookout. No, it's nothing. I've told you before, nothing means something when you say it like that. Hanako squirms a little in her beanbag, hoping that by changing her position she'll find the word she's looking for. I was in an accident. Accident? Just now? Are you alright? Hanako shakes her head. It's the scars, isn't it? Her hair flowing around her shoulders in wisps of amethyst on a background of pale and dark flesh. No. When I was younger. Realization crushes into me like a semi. When I was... It's alright, Hanako. You don't have to tell me anything if you don't want to. Again, she shakes her head. No. I have to tell you. When I was young, I was in a fire. My house burned down, and I nearly didn't make it. After that, I was alone. Hanako's eyes glisten in the dim light of the library, and I reach out to grasp her hand. It's okay, Hanako. You don't have to keep going. But I have to. Why? What's brought this on? Last night, Lily told me about your heart. And I didn't think it was fair. Fair? That I knew about you, but you didn't know about me. I squeeze Hanako's hand a little. Don't be silly, but yes, I have a heart condition. I lean a little closer to Hanako. What I didn't tell Lily is that I had my first attack when a girl confessed to me. I smile a little to break the tension. Really? Really. I haven't heard from her in a while though, so I guess that's all over. I know it's all over. There's no other way to interpret what happened the last time I saw her. In some ways, not having heard from her again has helped me move on from that period of my life. So now, we both know a little more about each other. But you don't have to talk about things if you don't want to. In fact, I feel a little bad about even bringing... Yeah. In fact, I feel a little bad even thinking about that whole incident. I can almost smell the hospital disinfectant burning the back of my sinuses again. I imagine Hanako is going through the same thing now. When I was in the hospital, I went to the burn ward once. And only once. I was bored, so I went for a walk through all of the wards. I went through oncology and thought I could take it, but when I got to the burn ward, I turned around and went back to my bed. To think that Hanako would have spent months in a place like that, smelling nothing but corrupted skin, strong disinfectant and sterilized air. The really bad cases were kept in isolated pods that no foreign objects could enter. That would have meant no reading. I would have gone insane if I didn't have my books in the hospital. And she said she was alone. Did her parents die? Chess. Oh. That's what the awe was about. It's why she didn't say it. I'll have to ask Lily about it. I can imagine myself saying something dumb unintentionally. Thank you, Hisao. I haven't told many people about this. To be honest, I haven't told many people about my circumstances either. Then I won't tell anyone either. Deal. I change my grip on Hanako's hand into a handshake as the warning bells chime through the window. Well then, we'd better head to class then, eh? Sure. Act 3, Castling. It's where you hide the king behind a castle. Or a rook. So, for those that don't know castling. Right, the tint of the room slowly changes from the shine of the afternoon to the orange of dusk. A clock lazily ticks away the seconds, counting in the background on the verge of hearing. But no matter how long I wait, the outcome cannot be changed. The diminutive playing piece makes a small click against the board. Like a wound sprung, Hanako makes her move only moments after mine. It's embarrassing. In comparison to my 5-minute moves, she seems to know exactly what she needs to do. Mate. Again, what does that make this? 3-2? Stalemates don't count. Ah, you're getting better at this every day. That or she's been holding back. I'd never thought it when I first met her, but she really has a knack for this game. Chess seems to have been a popular pastime for the two of us, hiding away in the tea room, playing a game or two after classes. From here, the students outside can just barely be heard milling about. The everyday noises from below remind me a little of my life before Yamaku, though I'm by now well aware that it's a life I'll never get back to. Fancy another game? I have to finish my homework. Oh well. I'll see you tomorrow then. But what about this? Hamako points to the tea set surrounding the mostly empty chessboard. Oh, don't worry about that. I've got it. Oh, okay. See you. Later. Hanako departs as I start cleaning up the area. The occasional whistles and cheers from the sporting clubs outside become less frequent, eventually approaching silence. A part of me still wants to be in some kind of team. Since I played football and other sports before my accident, I guess it's only normal to feel nostalgic about what I can't do anymore. But I have other reasons than that for my coming here so often, and I don't feel so bad about losing that part of myself because of them. Lily is a good friend by now, but it's the small exchanges I have with Hanako that feel especially dear. Ah. The small victories I feel every day as I see of more what she's like under her self-imposed shell. That's why I come here most of all. As I'm putting away cups and saucers, I hear talking outside the door. Pausing for a moment, I can make out that it's Hanako and Lily and decide to go outside to investigate. Are you quite sure? I'm sure. Ah, Hisao. Hanako turns to see me with a look of mild surprise as she noticed my approach. Lily must have caught her just as she was about to leave. Oh my, Hisao here as well? Afternoon, Lily. What's up? I was hoping, now that I've finished with my class representative duties for the day, that I might have the two of you accompany me for tea at the Shanghai. It'd be nice to enjoy ourselves outside of the school for a change. Well, I'd be up for it. I think Hanako had work to do, though. It's not all that much. Wonderful. It seems that we're decided, then. Doesn't want to play me at chess, but can go to the tea rooms. Alright, I know how it is. I cast my eyes across the cafe as the three of us step in. As usual, there are only a handful of people around at most, and the noise level is a quiet background hum. The hold Lily has on Hanako's arm remains just as it's been for the entire slow walk down the hill to the local town, though it's hard to say for which reason. For Lily's guidance, or for Hanako's reassurance. For a moment, Lily removes her hand from Hanako's to retract her cane as Yuko quickly skitters over to where we stand, but soon replaces it back where it had been. Welcome to the Shanghai. May I take your order? She gives a deep bow, her well-delivered and professional introduction putting her in a good mood. It's a nice change from the norm for Yuko. Just a tea, please. Hanako? Hisao? I'll have a slice of pie and a coffee. Coffee?! A tea house and you're having coffee. I don't like the main character to this game. Just tea, please. Coming right up. Please take any seat you wish, and I'll be back shortly. I don't like coffee. Just personal tastes. I know lots of people are like, oh, coffee's amazing, and you need it to get through uni. And I managed some tea. I think basically you pick one of them for your caffeine, and I went with tea because I'm British and I do stereotypically British things. I do the little finger thing. I do occasionally. Random bit of information then. Yuko gives a smile and a nod before shuffling to the counter, and we make our way to some empty seats by the window in quick measure. We slip into our seats, the girls on one side with Lily's cane propped up beside them, and I on the other. I realise that Hanako's not doing something she so often does. The hands aren't covering the face, is that it? Rather than keeping her eyes pinned to the ground and hiding behind her blind escort, busily trying to convince herself that the world around them doesn't exist, she's merely keeping her eyes low and helping Lily around. Are you okay, Lily? You look tired. She lowers her head a little, looking somewhat embarrassed that she let it show. Class representative work can be very tiring, considering it often means dealing with the student council. Very tiring indeed. Ooh, what happened? How do the other representatives go? Better than I, but not by much. Shizune is a harsh taskmaster, no matter whom she deals with. It doesn't sound like you particularly relish the job. Why do you do it in the first place if it's so bad? Being a class representative is enjoyable, and I can deal with the responsibility well enough. It's just that the people involved are sometimes... She trails off, cutting her words off at a rather opportune spot. It's hard to imagine Lily cursing, but I imagine that if anyone could make her do so, it would be Shizune. Hanako looks to be withering a bit of the light of such conflict, but before I can steer the topic away a little, she stands up. Hanako? Oh dear. I'll be back in a bit. With that, she leaves for the restrooms. I suppose that's one way to deal with the situation, if that was indeed her motivation. Hiding in the... hiding in the toilets! Yes. Oh, she really is me. Lily, however, looks a little wounded. Don't worry about it. I don't think it was you. But I think she's been getting stronger recently. You've seen it yourself, right? That went a bit awry. Fortunately, Lily doesn't look offended, and by now I really shouldn't be quite so scared of stepping on that landmine around her. Possibly. Sometimes I find it hard to tell, though. Silence reigns for a moment before 2 teacups, a pie, and a mug of steaming coffee appear in front of us. I notice that Yuko takes special care to place the teacup against the tip of Lily's fingers, letting her know where it is. Here you go. Thanks, Yuko. Thank you. With a quick and silent bow, the bespectacled waitress takes her leave. Ah, that's right. I was meaning to ask you something, and now would be the right time to do so. I'm all ears. Hanako's birthday is coming up, and I was hoping that you might accompany me for present shopping in the city this weekend. Hanako's birthday is soon? Well, I suppose it'd be a nice chance to cheer her up a bit. Like Yuko, she always seems to be teetering on the edge of either panic or depression, and I've never seen her enjoy herself much outside of our chess games. All that aside, learning the layout of the city better with a friend keeping me company sounds like a good way to spend a weekend. Sure, I'd be happy to. Have you got any plans for what to do for a birthday? A party or anything? Yes, a party. Big crowd of people. Good plan for Hanako. You can't have a party with 3 people. And I think with anyone else, Hanako would just panic and flip out. Not flip out, but panic and run away and be scared and hide inside her shell. And yes. Hanako being Hanako, perhaps a low-key affair would be... Lily suddenly cuts herself short, leaving me to wonder why as she brings her teacup to her lips and begins to sip. After a few seconds, I notice Hanako walking up to us over our shoulder. Lily's hearing must be very good indeed if it was the sound of the restroom door opening that tipped her off. Hanako takes a seat once again and wastes no time in drinking her tea. Soon the 3 of us are quietly eating and drinking as the sun sets. It's a nice way to spend the remainder of the day's light, and it makes me appreciate the quiet and serene surroundings of Yamaku. I think I'm really beginning to like life here, as isolated as it may be. I finish off the last of my coffee and rest the mug on the table while the girls talk between themselves. The coffee's here a little bitter for my taste, but still quite good. Better than what I can make for myself in any case. The girls' discussion is mainly focused on their respective reading preferences, which does give me a little curiosity about a related topic. Hey, Hanako, I was just wondering, aside from chess and reading, do you have any hobbies or things you like doing? She's completely stopped in her tracks, looking quite surprised that anyone would be interested in asking such a question about her. It takes her a little time to formulate a response. I guess I like singing a little. I'm okay with computers as well, but I don't use them all that much. Alright, she plays board games. Okay, I don't read, but I want to start reading it, so I want to start reading again. She sings, and she's good with computers. She is... Oh... This is weird. this is just weird. Stop being like me. Right. Sorry. I just find this entertaining that she's just... Yeah. Oh well. Singing isn't exactly something I expected to hear. It's hard to imagine her singing voice, given how soft-spoken she is. I don't think she sings opera, if that's what you're thinking, Hisao. Lily, on the other hand, simply nods. She must already know all this since she's been friends with Hanako for a year or so by now. What about you? Me? She hesitates before quickly flicking her head up and down. It's only logical that she'd want to talk about my hobbies after she's told me hers. There's chess, obviously, but also, there was football as well, though I can't really do that anymore. Reading, which I picked up in hospital. This is surprisingly hard. Lily look a little put off by the direction this is taking. The more I think about it, the more I am too. It sounds as if you picked up quite a few things since your accident. Lily's candour is coated with probably the most positive spin one could put on what I said. Hanako, however, is silent. If a situation becomes difficult, her reaction always seems to be withdrawing into silence in order to prevent things getting worse. That or physically retreating. Ooh. A soft ringing gives us pause. As Lily reaches into her pocket, it becomes obvious that the sound's coming from her phone. Sorry. It's okay. Lily gives a quick nod before shuffling out of her seat and taking the call a little distance away to avoid disturbing the both of us. Must be nice to be popular. Hanako smiles but doesn't take up the hook for further discussion.